It was a moment that sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. On what should have been just another day in court, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs found himself at the center of one of the most dramatic scenes of his career. This time not on a stage or in a music video, but in a federal courtroom, facing the consequences of a trial that has gripped the nation for nearly 2 months. The man once celebrated as a hip-hop icon, a media powerhouse, and a global entrepreneur dropped to his knees after hearing the jury's verdict. Guilty on 2 out of 5 federal counts related to sex trafficking and abuse. The ruling didn't just end his legal battle. It marked a dramatic turning point in a career that has spanned more than 3 decades. Diddy, 55, had pleaded not guilty to all charges when the trial began 7 weeks ago in New York City. But despite his legal team's aggressive defense, the jury ultimately convicted him on 2 critical charges that may not carry a life sentence, but still threaten to derail everything he's built. Just moments after the verdict was read aloud, courtroom reporters described how Diddy visibly trembled.
He bowed his head and knelt by his chair, silently praying.
In the background, his family, many of whom had been present throughout the lengthy proceedings, stood in quiet solidarity. Some clapped, others appeared to cry. His lawyers embraced each other, a rare show of emotion in an otherwise calculated legal strategy. Diddy then stood and hugged his lead attorney, Brian Steele, holding on tightly as if he were grasping onto the last threads of hope. For those following the case closely, this moment didn't come as a total shock. The trial had been filled with harrowing testimony, shocking evidence, and deeply personal accounts of abuse, control, and coercion. Much of it focused on Diddy's decade-long on-and-off relationship with singer Cassie Ventura, who took the stand early in the trial. Her testimony was perhaps the most powerful and the most heartbreaking. Ventura described in vivid detail how she had been manipulated, abused, and forced into what she called freak-offs, orchestrated sex parties involving Diddy and other women. According to her, these events were not consensual expressions of sexuality, but disturbing displays of power and dominance, events that left her psychologically scarred for years. I feared for my career. I feared for my family, Ventura said through tears during her testimony. He would use the footage of those nights against me, threatening to release them if I ever left or told anyone what happened. The courtroom sat in stunned silence. As she spoke, jurors leaned forward. Reporters furiously took notes. And across social media, her words reverberated with thousands of supporters who saw in her testimony echoes of other #MeToo moments. Other women who finally stepped forward after years of silence. But Ventura wasn't the only one to take the stand. Several of Diddy's former assistants testified as well, some anonymously under witness protection. One described the inner workings of Diddy's inner circle, a world of luxury and intimidation, where loyalty was demanded and secrets were currency. Others were former sex workers who claimed to have been paid to participate in the infamous freak-offs. Their stories, while varied, painted a consistent picture. Diddy was a man who used his fame and fortune to control those around him, often through fear, manipulation, and force. Even Kid Cudi, the rapper and former label mate, made a brief but memorable appearance during the trial. He testified to moments of tension between Diddy and Cassie and recalled an atmosphere that was, in his words, toxic and intensely private. One of the most disturbing pieces of evidence introduced during the trial came in the form of text messages, digital footprints that documented years of emotional abuse. In one chilling message from 2017, Cassie wrote to Diddy, "I give you love, and as soon as I turn my head, you drag me down the hall by my hair. I'm 30 years old. This isn't play anymore." That text message referred to a now infamous incident in 2016, where surveillance footage first leaked online earlier this year showed Diddy physically assaulting Cassie in a hotel hallway. The video was brutal and undeniable. After it surfaced, Diddy released a public apology on Instagram. "I was ed up," he said in the video. "I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility." That apology did little to shift public opinion, and it certainly didn't sway the jury. For many watching the trial unfold, that footage became a central point of no return, the moment the public truly began to turn on a man who once epitomized success in the music industry. Throughout the proceedings, the prosecution maintained that Diddy had built a secret empire of abuse behind his glamorous public persona. They argued that his lifestyle of excess and fame had hidden years of criminal activity, and that his wealth had allowed him to buy silence, control narratives, and evade justice. The defense team, on the other hand, stuck to a single message. Diddy was a target. They claimed the allegations were part of a coordinated attack to bring down a powerful black entrepreneur, and that the women testifying against him had financial motivations. But even with a high-powered defense team and some of the best attorneys money could buy, the jury wasn't convinced. Their decision to convict Diddy on 2 counts, including sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, speaks volumes about the strength of the evidence and the credibility of the witnesses. Perhaps most surprising was the fact that Diddy himself never took the stand in his own defense. Though he did speak briefly in court on June 24th, addressing Judge Arun Subramanian directly and thanking him for doing an excellent job, he never told his side of the story under oath. According to legal experts, that was likely a strategic move, one that spared him from cross-examination, but may have cost him the chance to humanize himself before the jury. As the verdict sinks in, questions now swirl about what's next. Diddy may have avoided the most serious charges. He was found not guilty on 3 counts, including racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation for prostitution, but the convictions still carry serious consequences. He could face significant prison time. More importantly, his reputation may be damaged beyond repair. Back at home, fans and former collaborators are processing the news. Some, like Meek Mill and French Montana, have remained silent. Others, including some victims' advocates, have expressed cautious relief that a powerful figure is finally being held accountable. Meanwhile, Cassie Ventura, now a mother of 3 and married to fitness trainer Alex Fine, has remained quiet since the verdict. But those close to her say she's been following the case closely and has found strength in finally having her story heard. For Diddy, the road ahead is uncertain. The once untouchable mogul now finds himself not at the top of the charts, but at the center of a scandal that could define his legacy. As he knelt in that courtroom, praying silently after the verdict, it became painfully clear. The empire he built is crumbling, and the world is watching every moment of its fall.